Good, good job there, Cynthia. Okay, let's go ahead and begin this one today. So let's see where we are. I've been noticing, just in general, we've been getting a lot of ideas from people who are coming up to revenue management saying, hey, look, can we do this? Hey, look, can we do that? I think the best way right now is for everybody to submit ideas onto this paper. We'll collect ideas on the revenue management, and then revenue management then qualifies the idea, and then we decide what we want to implement. So we currently have a few conditions that are sort of where we're facing. One is we're facing a very unstable market that sort of goes up and contracts, and it's probably going to get worse and worse every day for demand. We also have a limited amount of time. Let's say before things, I think every day yesterday was slightly better. So in terms of that, we have a market condition that's we can say safely worsening over time. We also have a condition of we don't have, let's say, unlimited resources right now to work on every idea. So we really need to prioritize the ideas first on what essentially is the lowest effort but the highest impact. And we also need a way for this sort of collection of ideas to come. We really want everybody to contribute these ideas because somebody might see something that everyone else has not. So I think every day, I think we can collect ideas, qualify which ideas are the ones we're going to take initiative on through revenue management, and then pass these out. Does that sound like a pretty good idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because if we don't, then what will happen is everybody will start running in different directions, working on things that they think might have impact. And I don't think that is a good time for that right now. For example, there are some content ideas that I'm studying currently. These ideas are very long range and have very, unpredictable amounts of impact. So in that phase, let's say if we get to a research and development phase, yeah, that's fine because essentially there's no more, let's say, timing that is going to change. Every day is equally bad. But now that we know that there's still, let's say, some market opportunities, I really do prefer that we move a little bit faster on this. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening. I kind of need Lilis, I need Vidi and Chandra in because I need to double check if they've actually pushed through this cancellation policy.
I got the information from Dita and also Gadi. They already pushed the cancellation. Gadi, I think Gadi one actually gonna handle.
Okay.
This cancellation also.
All right, fantastic. Okay, that's very good. So let's continue then. So so far we're making progress, everyone. I really want to acknowledge that. If anything else, I really appreciate the way that revenue management has worked together to come up with innovative ideas over the past few days. And I think these ideas have definitely helped us get out of the way of where things were and really quickly put us into a situation where we're doing slightly better. The change in the booking pace yesterday, I think, was really good. It was a small victory. We did get peak cancellation yesterday, but we were able to reverse the booking trend, which had been decreasing for the past 4 days. So this work is adding up to some good results, I think, and we should continue doing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at a few ideas right now. So we got a few ideas coming in from across the board, and I just want to review some of these. D1 came in today, and he said make a special promo for dates like Nippy and Eid Mubarak, and that is coming soon. And I think that is a great idea. That is pretty easy to do. That is in line with, I think, the Plan B. If we haven't already, I think June 30th Eid falls within May 30th. May, right?
It will work.
Yes, the dates of travel.
Oh yeah,
the dates of stay.
it's special. So basically, it will work is on end of May.
Okay.
So in the end, it will work because we already doing something like that actually.
Ah, I see. Okay. Oh, okay. What is that? Oh, that's okay. 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 On this one, I think it's sort of overlapping already with what we're doing on
Certainly
B.
doing nice.
But I guess we could continue offering more discounts for those particular days. As far as Nippy goes, let me just double check if I understand this correctly. I understand that a few properties are closed during Nippy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Should we open them back up again?
Depends on the this is for squad one. For squad one, the property close is only two options. One is basically it's used by the owner.
Okay.
Second is basically there's no staff to handle to prepare for everything.
I see.
One day before of it because they need to also prepare for the meeting itself.
Okay. Any type of availability income that we can get right now would be really nice. Let's start with the top 12. Is there anything in the top 12 right now that
Lot three.
is lot 3? Yeah.
Lot three.
All right, because previous years they had to hike all the way across. So
That's what I'm saying.
I remember that.
So yes, we can try, but it's not something that I can promise.
Okay.
Especially it's pretty short of time for us to prepare.
I think it can be done in maybe about 30 minutes of time. We'll just approach, let's say, all these owners.
Some of it actually open Chantik. Chantik was because
Yeah, it's too much to coordinate that.
yeah, it's too much about it. It's just waste of our time.
Chantik, okay, Chantik is a pretty big one. But
Only all
it's-
three, I believe, the one that maybe we can still kind of discuss.
okay, Tortoise?
Chantik open.
Tortoise is open. Okay, all right, Bahagya?
Yeah.
See if the owner has put anything in.
Then we.
Oh, right. So I was planning on getting Bahagya for the team.
Only one villa.
Only one villa. But I don't know how many people want to go right now. So
That's why.
we don't
Only
have
one villa.
we don't have supply. We don't have demand right now. So it's open. It's open.
It's open. It's closed.
Okay.
All the way.
All right. Let's say for right now, we will reserve one villa if the team wants to get together and spend Yippee in Bahagya. I don't know if that's good for social distancing. If you go in and you come out sick, that's kind of like the opposite of social distancing.
We can ask everyone who actually
Okay.
want to join the company.
But even then, as a company, I think we should probably
Social
enforce
distancing.
some responsible behaviors, right? I think putting everybody together in one villa during this is maybe not the best
I
hygiene.
don't like to go back to Surabaya because of the situation.
Hey,
Well-
like the article that I just shared. Oh, I'm going to request a little bit more time today. There's quite a lot of initiatives. Can we go until I probably need a good hour and a half to 2 hours for this because there's quite a lot of stuff, and I think we need to act quicker and make some decisions. There's a lot of new stuff. So I'm proposing to actually extend this meeting up until about 6 o'clock. Is that okay with everyone? Yeah. Okay. Alvin's okay. Phyllis, you guys okay? Okay. All right. Let's continue then. If you're not okay, then just return back to your regular duties after 5 o'clock. That'll be okay. What I've noticed is, okay, has everyone watched the video that I sent out on the announcement group? Okay, if you haven't, just please watch that video really quick. It is, once again, what we can control. So it's not a joke. Social distancing works. It's actually probably one of the most effective ways. Not really for your own safety, but actually for everyone else's safety. So really, it's really about helping others first. Basically, think about it this way. If basically more people get coronavirus inside Indonesia, that will essentially overload the hospitals. So people delivering babies, people who are like injured in traffic accidents, these people can't get medical service because the hospitals will be filled with people who are getting medical service for coronavirus. This then causes unnecessary deaths and delays and suffering for people who should have gotten a space, right? So kind of the key here through the video is to just slow down the spread of the virus. There's still going to be a lot of people infected, no doubt, but it at least slows it down so there isn't like a peak infection rate that overwhelms the current medical facilities, and that allows everybody who does have serious medical issues to still get care. So fundamentally, I looked at that and I thought that that's pretty smart. And also, most of the countries that have implemented this social distancing, they've gotten through it better than countries that haven't. So it is completely within our control, I think, to implement social distancing, and it's fairly effective too. And you can see the effect in 2 different cities in the U.S. during this epidemic back in 1918. There was one city, Philadelphia. They didn't use social distancing, and they had essentially like an outbreak. Everyone got sick. A lot of people died. And then the other city had almost no deaths because everything was still under control of the medical system. So it's not really for yourself. I mean, we'll probably all live, but it's really to stop the spread to other people that would actually whatever, right? So the more we reduce the chances the virus spreads, the better it is for everyone actually. And I'm really happy we found something that actually is something that we can control. So think about that, right? And watch the video and take a look, draw your own conclusions. But I think that's something we can do. Okay, let's get back up to the main focus points then. So we currently already have essentially some discounts available. I think the only thing we can ask for is maybe to ask our owners if they want to sell Nippy. That allows for bookings then to fall over those dates, which somewhat improves the possibility for those listings to also sell.
Other than that, we can actually, if you want to focus on the holidays, basically, you can use a label on the listing picture.
Ah, right. Okay.
Best place for Nippy for a listing that actually still open or still available.
Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. Good pivot, Alvin. So we can also put a label, and this would be a content initiative.
Is that one?
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, that's not the content initiative. Thank you. And we could probably put a label on the listings issuing discounts. Okay, all right, cool. Some of the stuff is self-evident. If somebody's booking something through Nippy, they'll probably see already lower prices in the ranking search. But I think it doesn't hurt. Okay, so
They what are the difference? I think because if someone actually want to book for Nippy, basically they just put the calendar, right? The dates itself. So if they actually say that actually discount for Nippy or is the best rates for Nippy,
they would see it in the price already.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it might be a little bit
That's not bad.
redundant. But what about Eid? For Eid Mubarak, what do you think?
It means we just need to replace it again. Let's say after the Nippy. Yep. It will is on May end of
Okay.
May. So we still have time, let's say, on the mid of April until end of May.
Okay.
Basically.
Now this affects mostly Jogja, if I understand
Yeah,
correctly,
nothing.
right?
Yeah, Jogja is the one I think was affected for people.
Okay. So there's no reason to stop now. I think we should actually implement maybe like a low season price for Eid Mubarak. Yeah?
For Ibu Barak, depends. Currently, well, Ibu Barak market is basically for local, right? For now, that's not different from the local market. I think we can still keep the current price. Okay, I believe it's still a good idea right now.
But
We need the measurement that actually until what time that actually we need to also propose.
Well, it's basically the same assumption I think with the local population as the peak season discounts. We're estimating that every day that goes along, the number of people who are considering traveling is diminishing and diminishing and diminishing. I think now the government in Bali has already issued like not a quarantine, but they've issued like no social events, right? So I think that means no nippy.
No,
Right,
no,
Lilith, do you
no,
know?
go.
No, does that mean no nippy? I mean, yeah, sure, no ogo ogo.
Uh, we haven't like received any like announcement about that. We're still making ogo-ogo actually in Bali. I mean, all the teenagers, and I think it will be ogo-ogo. But for the idea of putting the discount for Nyepi, it might be good, but the facility that we can give for the guests, I think it's like we don't have any internet in Bali, especially.
Yeah.
So I think the service will be like decreasing the quality. So maybe,
Oh, so it would be of lower value anyway to anybody who's staying, right?
yeah.
All right, so a special discount on top of the discounts for the nippy days. Could be worthwhile. Okay, I think this is worthwhile to explore because this wouldn't be too long, and I think we could actually roll this out fairly quickly. Okay, we need to keep on moving. So this one, I would say that we approve. We can think about how to take action as soon as we finish this meeting. On the next one, Lilith. Okay, let's put out the idea of emailing past guests. Okay, for that one, Lilith, I will say that there's quite a lot of frictions. The emails for most guests, they discontinue as soon as the guest ends their stay with us. So we don't have access to the actual guest email.
Yeah,
We- Exactly. As Alvin said, we only have access to a temporary email. That email expires as soon as the guest checks out. So it's just an anonymous email that Airbnb sets up where we can talk to the guest during their stay, before their stay. But after they've checked out and they've moved on, that email stops. So we wouldn't be able to use that to approach guests anymore. Most of the trips that we have seen come to Bali are essentially just for one time, right? There's fewer repeat guests. And this initiative is what I would call a top of funnel initiative, which is essentially on a marketing funnel. There's consideration, there's action, and what is it? There's consideration, no, there's awareness, consideration, action, purchase, and such. So essentially, anything that's top of funnel right now is difficult because we have less control. Somebody who has not thought about making a trip to Bali yet, somebody who is still kind of like in a different mindset, it's harder to get them to move through the funnel than to target somebody who, let's say, has already sent an inquiry. That is where we generally would see the most amount of results rather than top of funnel. So in this particular one, I would say we can postpone it to a different date. It would take quite a lot of effort to roll this out, and it would address top of funnel rather than bottom of funnel. Has everybody been on the marketing course yet? So when I talk about top of funnel, does that? Okay, wait. Let me explain what I mean by this. So on marketing, there's this idea of a marketing funnel. Next time we have a marketing marathon, come and join. Then you'll learn about what these terms mean. So any type of, let's say, re-engagement with the previous guest, for the most part, would be rearranging awareness. So they probably have not even thought about coming back to Bali for since they ended their trip. So if you start at the top of funnel here, your efforts are very unlikely to get any results back down here. But if you, let's say, work on conversion, which is essentially the people who are already sending inquiries, sending a request, then without too much effort, you're more likely to get bookings and get results. So in terms of the focus more on bottom of funnel rather than top of funnel for the time being. That is where we expect to get the most results for the least amount of effort at the time being. Okay, but it was a good idea, and I think it's one of those ideas, let's say long term, that would be very good. Asking maybe the guest even follow us on Instagram, or having a way to communicate with them visually and also on a up-to-date basis. Okay, next one comes from Chandra. Yes, Chandra, I approve this idea. This is pretty cool. As long as we get a guest, let's try to keep that guest within the Bukit Vista network. So suggesting, hey, look, when you check out, do you want to go here? Understanding their pathway and keeping them within. That requires, I think, very little additional effort from a online guest support point of view. Now, the question is, how many people are using this right now? Cynthia, are you using this method right now?
Not yet, sir.
Okay.
But
Alvin, are we using this method right now?
We just discussed it this morning. Actually.
Okay. All right.
Not yet.
And who else is an air support person? Let's see. We got, what's the work on air support night shift? Nadine, okay. And who else?
Nothing.
Marsha and Nofi. Okay, I think, Chandra, this can be an HAR initiative. So please socialize this message out to all the other people who do night shift and air support. Yeah? Would this be easy or hard to roll out, Chandra?
It's like me.
Further?
Would this be difficult or easy or hard to get everybody to adopt this practice?
I think it's easier, especially when we got now a lot of people to cover air support, and there is no a lot of guest traffic, right?
Right.
So every morning we just like have several, maybe 1 hour to send out some message to the guest check out today.
Okay.
So I think the best time to roll out the message is before 12 because at the time guests are just like looking for another place to stay.
Okay, great. Here, Chandra, can I have you do this? Can you gather all of the air support people, let's say tomorrow morning, and teach everybody what you've learned through this so that you guys all share guests, right? So ideally, our guests, they should go to our places in Nusa Penida and go to our places in Ubud and go to our places in the Bukit. So we have this cross traffic. This, Chandra, is a pretty good way of doing business anyway. Let's say even without like this situation, I think this is a good long-term initiative. So the more we interconnect our properties, the better in terms of booking pace and revenue that we can make. As long as guests is booked with us, let's have them continue to book with us. So, Chandra, what is a good time? Everyone's in tomorrow, right, Alvin? I think most of the
That's coming into.
Okay, all right. Is everyone coming in tomorrow? Cynthia, Chandra, Nadine, Novi, Marsha, and okay. So tomorrow morning, Chandra, can you just arrange a meeting and just think of a template? Just think of like a really easy way everyone can actually practice this. Make it so easy that like a kid can do it. And
Already, sir. Sorry.
okay, okay, great. And then we'll add this into the mix. This is pretty easy to roll out. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is approved, and Chandra will PC this and meet with all other air support and socialize this method. Okay, great. Okay, this one's me. So I took a look at the stats today, and this is pretty interesting. Russians and Ukrainians are the only two groups of people that are actually increasing in their numbers of travelers. I don't know why. Somebody, Deepa asked me this morning, it would be good to know why. Um, if you guys are on air support, maybe you can ask the Russians, hey, look, why are you guys still coming? I would be very curious to know what their reasoning is.
But as one squad want to do a mining for that also.
Okay, great. Let's go. Okay, well, so squad one will mine for an answer. Let's go to Chandra. Chandra, what about you?
For the guests that I met, usually they are mostly digital nomad that already live in Bali for maybe several months. They just like moving around.
Okay, so they're already inbound and they're planning to stay here, right?
Most of the guests actually already stay in Bali. For squad two that I met too, mostly.
Okay, got it. That's actually pretty valuable. So they just don't plan on going home. Okay,
I think so.
all right. That's interesting.
Okay,
Okay,
different one squad one.
okay, okay. The Russians are in Bodas right now, right? There was one in Bodas. So
I check out, but yeah, mostly Russian actually looking for a cheap villa around Jibaran.
okay, all right. Let's give them cheap villas then. That's great. That's hey, Vinny. That's your thing, right? We've identified a pattern. Russians looking for cheap villas.
Yeah, I want to discuss that. I think video already told Diba regarding the product market fit
Okay,
about cheap villa and Ocean View.
okay,
I believe, but I think it's another discussion.
okay. Fantastic. Let's get around to that. Hey, welcome in, Don. Okay, so the initiative to translate the listings to Russian, I've actually talked with Vidya this morning. Here's the stats on it. So Russians themselves have gone up by 133%, while other nationalities have decayed. U.S. is still pretty low. It's only seen 11% diminishment or a decrease, but Russians have gone up. And the surprising thing is the Ukrainians. They've gone up by 268%. So we can kill two birds with one stone. If I'm not mistaken, I think Ukrainian and Russian both, they use the same language. So we can, what I've asked Vidi to do is if we can actually focus on the top listings that are most likely to be booked by Russians, we can just start the translation process now. Furthermore, if we want to actually take the initiative and translate everything into Russian, we might just do what we did over the past few days, just call everybody in and just manually translate all the listings to Russian, which we might as well do anyway. It's a good, I think, long-term perspective. But the thing I want to be careful is I don't want to exhaust all our content bandwidth on one idea. So ideally, we can focus on some particular listings. Let's go to Vidi. Vidi, have we been able to figure out which particular or pass the data to the content? Okay, great, fantastic, great stuff. So
Yeah,
how many,
I already passed the data.
okay, how many properties are we talking about in terms of translation priority right now?
Okay, so let me see.
Okay,
So I created a Excel sheet basically,
okay,
and I think I shared to Kagani and Karizal like after lunch this afternoon.
okay.
Russian and Ukrainian guests. Okay.
Is it here?
Okay. So yes. Wait. You want me to share it to you or?
Sure. Tell us what we need to look for.
What's the email? I think. Wait. Okay. I shared it to.
All right, Vinny, just go ahead and pass the URL to the.
It's called.
Just go ahead and paste in the chat.
So basically, in summary.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Vinny, If you can, please pass the URL through the
Mhm.
Whereby chat, and then I'll open it on my side. Yeah.
What is it?
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Moving it over here. Okay. So, oh wow. Okay. Interesting. What do we got? Open in Microsoft Excel Online. Okay. So moving from Dropbox Paper to Excel. API. Okay. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. How interesting. Okay. Nice one. All right. So what are we looking at, Diddy?
So yeah, with this we can kind of like narrow down the name of properties that the content team can work on because we also value their time.
Okay.
And we see that for example, property guest Russia account, it means that properties that are popular among Russian guests are Asri Village, Atrababuloje, and so on and so forth. So that we have 22 bookings. This is data taken from on Q1 of 2020.
Okay.
So beginning from January until today, basically.
All right.
So this includes already the period from which coronavirus has stricken. So it's still relevant.
Excellent. Very good. So that's the narrow focus, and these are the people who are still booking despite awareness of coronavirus. Okay, that's good. Thank you for zooming in on that one. Speaking of zooming in, I'm trying to zoom out right now. Wait, let me reload this for a second. And is it okay? Let's look at what the Ukrainians look like then too. It's funny that they have time to travel despite having a civil war. Pretty interesting behaviors. Okay, let me see if I can zoom out. Okay, let's take a look at the Ukrainians. Okay, and the Ukrainians are also coming into Chantik Dekutu. Interesting, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Ungasan area, yeah. Manta Cottage, NH Residence, Double A. Okay, Puttakalapa. Okay, I think that gives us a direction then. So I think the next thing we need to do, Vidi, is this. Let's create a priority. I guess this is already a priority list, right? So I think they can work on essentially the first 12 for each nationality. Maybe the first 24 for Russians, and then after they finish that, on the next 12 for Ukrainians, because the Russian group is far bigger than the Ukrainian group. And then we will take a look at that. Okay, great. Vidi, thank you very much. Vidi, please monitor what the content team is doing, and also come back to us to see if they need any extra help doing the translations. That's quite a lot of work, and if they need extra help, I think we can recruit some extra hands for that. So I think just give us a progress on how many for these have been translated to the revenue management group. Okay, thank you very much, Vidi, for getting that rolled out in a quick timing process. Let's take a look at what else we're working on right now. Okay, so the Russian translation is in progress. All right, next one came from Gani. So Gani came up with this idea of putting in essentially a 3-day discount for 30% off. So essentially a incentive for booking a longer stay. Now, what I've told Gani is that I think this is a little bit difficult to apply. The reason is because an air support person would have to manually alter the reservation in order for that to happen. And also we need to go out and inform all the owners for whenever this is happening to as well. So currently we have essentially the B initiative right now, which is just the sort of everyday low prices across all the different properties. I think that supersedes this plan. Let's go to Chandra for comments. Chandra, go ahead.
Okay, so related to Gani's plan for giving infographic about the discount, actually Gani already reached out to me and he already made some screening of which property that have more inquiries regarding long stay or long stay discount. So right now we are focusing on 5 properties to give them to make some infographic about discount.
Okay, cool. And how long would it take, Chandra, for you guys to roll this out on 5 properties?
Tonight I'm gonna done with the number of discounts, and maybe it's gonna be done the next 2 days.
Okay.
Because tomorrow need to no tomorrow gonna need to focus on the cancellation policy, and then the next day we can roll out for this one.
Okay, got it. Right, Gunny's already got some work to do with, let's say, the translations and such too as well. So I need to balance his bandwidth on projects that, let's say, have the maximum impact. Okay, if it's just 5 properties, please keep in mind also that this awareness needs to also go through night shift, and night shift is like 5, 6 different people right now. So it's a little bit complicated necessarily, unless maybe you can do it at the same time as when you make everyone aware about the your initiative, Chandra, right? So on your initiative to network all the different air support groups together, if you can roll this out too, then that might help. But there is a little bit of a, I'm afraid there could be some complication to calculating this later. And what do I do when the guests ask me for a discount and then I don't give them a discount because I'm not aware that content had posted a discount? So if you can manage that within a short time period, then go ahead. If not, then we'll just stick to the plan B, which is essentially a low price for everything across every property that gets frequently booked. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Question.
Yes.
Just have to make sure on it. Do we want to give a discount for a long term, let's say over 1 week, or we want to follow with this one that basically if someone actually asking for extension, we're going to give a discount? Because I does
okay.
contradictive.
Right. The initiative that Ghani put forward was to put an infographic
Yes.
saying that I think it's basically like ask for a discount, basically, right? It's like if you book 3 days, we will give you a whatever number of discount. He's essentially asking them to put that up on the hero page. My concern about that is only the administration of the discount, right? Because now that is not automatically administered. That is up to each air support person to do. And we have like 6 air support and night shift people. So they all have to be on the same page on which properties are essentially in this particular pathway. I think that adds complication and could lead to confusion, and it could lead down to partner sort of like, I didn't approve this discount. Why did you give it? Whatever. So it is a lot of human functionality, and there's a lot of room for human error. So that's why I'm like a little bit about that. But if you do think that it could work, just do an MVP on a short number of properties, and then let's look at the results and see if those properties get higher weekly sales than properties that do not implement it. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any other discussion about this particular initiative? Okay, Lilith? No? Okay. All right. Lilith, go ahead.
Maybe this can also be done. Not really this one, but we can implement the weekly discount as in the Airbnb feature.
I think that's a pretty good idea. Yeah.
I don't know how many properties already applied it, but it is one easier way to do that. I mean, we don't have to monitor it.
Okay. Here, that's a good idea, Lilith. Let's go ahead and put that part of, that is in initiative B, right? Part of discounts and, is that initiative B or initiative D? Okay, it's kind of a different product. Let's put in initiative D. So any sort of discounting, I guess, is initiative D. So we could put in weekly discounts as part of our initiatives, and that'd be great, especially if the Russians are already here. If they're just not leaving, then of course they probably would book something that gives them a more long-term, better deal than something that is that's higher per day. Okay, all right. So I think I'm beginning to get the feeling that there are people trapped in Bali. Like, is that what Tendi posted in the revenue management group? Does anybody know what I asked him to?
The assumption is like that. Because it is close.
Right.
Some those actually moving to Bali, but we don't have the correct data.
Okay. All right. We might need to create a probe in terms of weekly discount to see if this actually works. If we
put that
okay
on the group.
on Dakutu, yeah, a weekly discount.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll develop this plan and try to roll it out by tomorrow too. Let's not roll out too many plans all at the same time. But I think this could actually be pretty good. Okay, Lilith, thank you for the idea. Lilith, could you write your idea onto the idea chart right here? And I will give a. Does anybody else have any further discussion about this idea?
Sir, I want to ask a question.
Yes, Matt.
Actually, my previous idea idea about informing the guest through the Airbnb message is based on the article, the blast message, because like 800 people opening it. So if we apply it for information about discount, for example, we targeted the Russian for the properties that VD already mentioned just now, and we just directly into the right customer. I mean, into the Russian that already booked, and then we like giving message like, oh, this one we have discount for if you want to expand, just like direct message to some segmented customer.
Okay, Lilith, go ahead and put this down on the list again. We'll analyze these one at a time. Yeah? I think that could be a pretty good idea. There might be some friction with, let's say, they ask for a discount on their original booking then, right? If we're giving kind of like, so we'll analyze that, take a look at it, but please write it down so that we'll cover this together as a chapter. All right, really good ideas. Just put them at the top of the stack, and we'll get to it. Okay, and then where are we now? On okay, the infographic. All right, Diva and Rizal have came up with this idea to open up more listings on Booking.com for our properties. I will approve it if it's just adding more capacity, right? If it's just adding more representative inventory on an existing listing, I think it's a fine idea. But if it's actually creating new Booking.com profiles and new Booking.com everything, then I do not think it is that is a high effort without a reasonable idea of impact at the moment. The reason why is because when we start a new listing, especially in a really depressed market, I don't know how quickly that will get traffic and get ranked and get viewed. It is most likely that it will not even be a successful launch. I'm thinking about Kathy right now, how she started her Airbnb listing right during the worst time. So in this particular regard, this one it's an uncertain benefit. Yes, we do know that Russians prefer using Booking.com. Yes, we do know that Indonesians prefer using Booking.com. But the aspect of actually going in, let's say with a lot of effort creating this, then asking finance, which we don't have a lot of support right now. We got one more month with Risky to then calculate and do these things for the owners. That's also added friction at the present moment. So I'm gonna postpone this for later. Later on, if let's say the market kind of closes down, then there's no harm. We can work on these more long efforts, low probability of success type initiatives. Okay, next one. So does anybody have any comments on that? On opening up new Booking.com and such profiles for existing properties? Okay, let's continue. Next one is Diva. Diva's working on off Airbnb promotion services to current property owners. This one, once again, is postponed. It's the same reason that we spoke about before. Any type of off Airbnb promotion is a top of funnel type initiative, which means that we don't have a lot of control and it's costly. And I don't know if owners are especially like optimistic about paying for this type of what do you call that? Of outspend right now. So the idea is good, maybe at a later point, but for the moment, I think it's better once again to work on bottom of funnel. So once again, inquiries, requests, anything that's already being paid for by Airbnb to get the traffic, anything that is already landing on our feet, we should just work on that to increase the inquiry conversion rates and because these are where we have the most amount of control. Okay, any discussion or topic conversation about this?
This isn't my project with you, actually.
Okay.
Maybe promotion.
Okay.
It's more on the community management actually, rather than on the revenue itself.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually it started before the coronavirus happened.
We have to think about this right now. All across the world. Here, let me show you something that I had a discussion with Bayu yesterday. Bayu was telling me, if we were a tech company, we would not be affected by coronavirus, right? But that is totally not true. If you look at Google stock yesterday, and actually everybody's stock yesterday, everything is going down right now. So why would Google stock go down, right? Aren't they immune to these kinds of things? This is Google stock. This is generally a upward swinging stock that never sees any decline. You can probably compare this if you want to Facebook stock. Facebook stock It's also pricing a decline too as well. Yeah, it dropped 14% yesterday. 14%. So 14% of the value of your company just gets wiped out in one day. So the reason these stocks are dropping is because nobody believes that anybody will be advertising in the near future, right? So if these companies are already seeing decreasing investor confidence in their ability to draw advertising budgets because that's where they make most of their money, then it is pretty likely that advertising is not a good way to spend your current money right now. That's just kind of like if there's a lot of water on your fire, it doesn't make sense to throw matches anymore on it. It's sort of a damp fireplace. It probably won't catch until the wood dries, as the closest analogy I can think of. Okay, so in terms of this, this is a top of funnel initiative at the current drive. It probably won't work. Let Airbnb spend money for us to get traffic onto their site, and all we have to do is work on the end of the funnel to convert inquiries. This is far more better use of our budget and our owner's budget and their trust to long term. Okay, so this one I would say postpone until a later date, until also we know what we're doing too. If we ask for owners to spend and we sacrifice their budgets for not a lot of results, I don't think they would be very happy either. So, okay, this one postponed. On the next one, okay, Diva, content agency services. Diva is proposing to spin off content as its own chapter to sort of look for opportunities to do photography and whatever work. I would also postpone this because this is essentially a completely new business than what we are doing, and it is liable for completely different types of let's say whatever. So this is a pretty big pivot for the time being, and we probably need content's time to work on initiatives that are more low effort at the moment. But this, if things do slow down to an absolute minimum, then I think we can come back to this. Okay, any more discussion on this topic? On creating like a separate content entity group. Okay, all right. Next one. Cynthia, yes, to special rate for potential areas for Russian and domestic guests. So that one's already being implemented. We already have the list that Vidi has created. So Vidi will follow up and with content to make sure that those the messaging has been reached to the Russian and domestic guests. We have not targeted Indonesian guests actually for this matter, and we need to take a look and see. But Indonesian guests are actually currently falling pretty hard too. They're the biggest drop at 29%, bigger drops than the other 5 top nationalities that we get. So this particular group is reacting actually more adversely to the outbreak than other groups. So let's just focus on the Russians and the Ukrainians for the time being. Okay, next. Yes.
This is out of topic. But we request to do also for the Q2, quarter 2, because quarter 1 is basically gonna end at March, right?
Yes.
But we actually also check the data that actually all the guests are actually booking for April and onward.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
So
Actually,
we can actually
yeah.
also see the trend.
Okay, Alvin, let's go ahead and put that idea in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please put it on the paper. That's a bug report. So that's a great idea, Alvin. Alvin has suggested that we look at Q2, which starts
April.
Okay, all right. Let's see what kind of people are still making bookings. Vidi, I think that's also can be your next initiative. Sorry, every day there's a new initiative, right? But I would really want to know of the people who still make bookings. Let's say if we take a look at our booking pace and we try to analyze every booking that has happened after March 11th,
Yes.
what is it that all these people have in common, right? Why are they still booking? What is it that age-wise, demographic-wise, psychographic-wise that they share? And if we have a little bit more information about that, I think that will continue to help us position ourselves in a better way to attract those types of people. So that's I'll write that idea down too as well. So what is it that everybody who booked after March 11th, or when is the Airbnb cutoff date? Was that March 11th? 14th, right?
14, sir.
Let's go with March 14th then, Vidi, because that's a hard cutoff date on the Airbnb policy. What is it that everybody who booked after March 14th has in common? Is it an age group? Is it a nationality? Is it just an outlook on life? Like, fuck, I get cheap airfares. I'm going to travel now. We need to do some research on that so we can figure out what that is. And conversely, if we can do some research and figure out what does everyone who canceled has in common either, are they all group travelers? Are they like coming from a certain? Well, we already can see the nationality and the region here. We know that most of them are coming from Europe, and a large number of them are also canceling from Asia now too as well, and also North America. Okay, so we do know that most of the cancellations are these blue teal bars. So these are Europe, which is pretty normal because Europe's like kind of like coronavirus center right now. Um, North America seems to not be as affected right now as Europe, and Asia seems to be growing in terms of a group. But let's see if there's any more things that we can find out to around that. Okay, let's continue. All right.
Sorry.
Yes, Cynthia.
Yes. Actually, I'd like to add some of my opinion, and I think I'd like to share it. Well, why I said about the domestic, since I mean like, why don't we think we turned or maybe like change the market? Since Bali will maybe will have a huge impact of coronavirus, and then maybe we should look for another opportunity because if we can't, we should have two legs to stand, right? So if we just like stand in one leg, and if it get hurt or maybe it's yeah, maybe it's broken or wet, and then we will fall. So I
Okay.
think we need another leg to stand.
All right. Let's explore Cynthia's idea. So, does anybody have any discussion around Cynthia's idea? Like, you're suggesting that we open a secondary market somewhere, right, outside of Bali?
Secondary market or secondary inventory.
I think Cynthia doesn't mention market. So, I mean, market means Indonesian people, right?
Supply, I guess, in this particular case.
I think yeah, it's more on demand rather than supply itself. So
The gas, I think.
uh,
Indonesian gas.
Okay, Cynthia, could you clarify what you mean? Do you mean by Bali? Do you mean we need to go and find another location where people will do bookings, or do we go to and pivot more towards Indonesian focus clients or guests?
Okay. Well, it could be both of them. Like we could focus also on Jogja as well, because we see that even the domestic and also the panic, yeah, the panic attack Indonesian people. But I think since there are a lot of people that now work from home or maybe self quarantine and social distancing, well, we don't need to use this kind of situation, but maybe we could make a campaign like staycation, how to make your self quarantine feels better, or how to make your work from home feels better. Maybe we could like give a special discount for our place to them. So the target on the market is right now is uh, they would need to do the work from home.
Okay,
And,
but
yeah.
Cynthia, if people work from home, then they won't travel, right?
Oh, but we don't know. Like maybe it's fine for them, like uh, for a week or second week, but maybe they will feel bored, and I think it's still possible for them to like just move. Like instead they skip stay on the same place, right, sir? They
Okay.
just need new environment.
Let's go around and take also a look at this. So let's work on a specific type of market fit right now. So we're talking about people in Jogja staying in Jogja to and staying in our properties, right? Is that the idea? Okay. Currently, I just isolated the Squad 3 outlook. The booking pace for all of Jogja is about the same as Chantik, as one villa in Bali. And also the revenue for I think Jogja is $2,000 a month, which is almost less than one villa in Bali. So if we go about optimizing Jogja right now, Cynthia, I don't know what the maximum will be. Even if we double or triple it, it's still very unlikely to, let's say, make global impact enough where we can bring in enough cash reserves for the company. But let's say let's just take a look at, let's say, I don't know. Let's take a look at lot six, for example. I think lot six alone actually makes more right now than Jogja as a market. So if we get, let's say, yeah, lot six itself makes twice as much as all of Jogja as a market. So in terms of just being able to produce a 10% improvement on lot six, that will deliver almost like as if it was a 50% whatever improvement on Jogja. So currently, this is the idea. We're trying to look for where the most impact will be, and I'm open to the idea of, let's say, exploring new markets. But we got to find a market where there's more money and there's more amount of impact that we can use. That way, the time that we spent on it will have the highest amount of impact. I think it was a really, really good idea. But we also got to wonder if even if we fix it, even if it's triple, it would still be below two villas right now in Bali. But okay, good idea. Thank you for bringing it forward, Cynthia. That's it's good initiative. Let's talk about whatever we have on the table at the moment. Okay, does anybody else have any other ideas about shifting the marketplace or correcting or going towards a different direction? Okay, I will say this. Previously, the last time we had the volcano, we all expanded all over Indonesia. We went to Jogja, actually, for the first time. What we learned out of that expedition was that the majority of bookings that happen on this platform on Airbnb, about, I think, 80% of them happen in Bali. So we spent quite a lot of time in Jakarta and Jogja, Bandung, everywhere looking for bookings, but there was no market that was nearly so good as Bali. And that's just Indonesia. That's across Southeast Asia. So Bali is kind of like the crown jewel of travel in Southeast Asia at the moment. It is more desirable than places in Thailand. It is more desirable than Malaysia. It is more desirable than Singapore for certain things. So it's not a bad place to focus on. And currently, everywhere else is experiencing bad travel too as well. Singapore is locked down now, so you can't get in. Malaysia has a crisis too as well. So it's a little bit hard this time to actually just move our location and expect a different result. Also, from let's say years of working in Jogja too as well, that market has always been slightly behind the results of even Nusa Penida, right, in terms of a marketplace. So let's try to find, let's say, where we find the best opportunities and focus on those portions first. Okay, let's continue. Let's see what the next ideas are. So Lilith, okay, weekly discount for some of the mostly booked properties, targeting Russians, listed properties by Video and Blast, discount for Russian guests. Okay, this is actually not a bad idea. Lilith, what would you do to target Russians?
Sorry, sir.
So on this particular idea, what would you do to target Russians?
What would I do? To target Russian. Wait. From Chandra's explanation, actually, because I don't know how many, but it's just like a slightly idea of targeting Russian. Because Russians tend to stay in Bali, so maybe they will extend, but I don't know which. It's just slightly idea.
Oh, okay. So it's basically targeting by offering, let's say, in-country extensions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Country
Um,
extension.
You can also probably, the translations will help. The translations will be a first level effect. If a Russian sees a listing in Russian, then I'd imagine they go, oh, okay, all right, this is for me, right? Thank you. The better way is to actually write things that are specifically messaged to Russians, right? So let's say, for example, I don't know. Let's say, for example, if you were traveling, let's say, to Italy right now, which you probably shouldn't, but let's say you were, but there was like, let's say, a listing that said, "Hey, look, I have Indomie available," right? That might be, oh, hey, cool. This host knows what we like, right? This host knows like something that warms me up, that makes me feel more welcome. So ideally, it's that type of trigger that will get the best conversion rates, either in the headline or in something expressed in the first photo that really says, "Hey, look, we really want your business. We really want you to book." So translation is the first level. The other is like more of a sort of a customized messaging that is specifically for this type of demographic. Don't worry about that on the first issue. Just issue it out like right now with the translation. I think that's already pretty good. But let's say if you want to evolve it and develop more ideas on it, that could be a specific way to target your content. Okay, and we already got the property list. Okay, good. And blast. Where are we going to blast this message out, Lilith?
Um, Actually, first I think targeting Russian who already stay in Bali because as Mak Wayan also said, based on her observation in Nusa Penida, there's some guests that like stuck in Bali. I mean, they cannot travel back because the countries prevent them to get back. I mean, yeah, just say today. So just like slightly idea about targeting current guests that already in Bali.
What?
But for yeah, but for the guests that haven't traveled to Bali, actually I'm searching, but I haven't found it. Just like maybe just using our digital marketing that it, I mean our digital marketing that already uh, with us, for example, like Instagram ads or
Okay,
um,
you got onto a pretty interesting discovery there, Vidi. This could be a clue for you too as well, right? So there is a sentiment right now that the guests that we have are the people who are stuck in Bali. Let's go around. Chandra, I see your hand. Let me come back to you in a second, but I just want to ask everybody in air support. Dom, Chandra, Cynthia, Alvin. How many guests have you recently dialogued with who are in that situation, who you believe that they're stuck in Bali? Alvin.
I'm really asking for account.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go to Chandra. How often do you come across guests that say something along those lines?
no.
Okay. Dom, what about you? How often do you come across guests that seem to be extending their stays in Bali?
Actually, just by now, there's a guest contacting me. It's a last minute booking at Bodas. They said that they will leave by tomorrow to Lithuania because the flight will be, I mean, like, there will be a lockdown in the country and they need to be back.
Oh, so they're
Yeah.
exiting. So they're okay. They're leaving in a hurry, not
Yeah.
staying in a hurry. Okay. All right. So that's a bit of that's completely opposite of what Wayana heard then.
Kerjaanku masih banyak.
Cynthia, what about you? Have you heard the same, or have you heard which?
Yes, sir. I think there's no guess that extend, so most of them is going back to the country since the government asked them to go back to their country.
All right. So not so good news then. All right. I guess no matter what, I guess we should still target the people who are remaining, right? There doesn't seem to be a bad initiative about that. So any type of weekly discounts, I think, would still be relevant. But just realize that remaining, like sort of stuck in the country, is probably a smaller and smaller group of guests. Okay, so we got through most of this already. Now it's a matter of how we go about distributing this. Okay, so this one, let's say I would approve. Let's see. A little bit different, right? Because this one is also a weekly discount. So it's a bit of it's not so much content. It's more of like it's an initiative. It's more of an initiative D rather than initiative B. Okay, let's see. Let's find a way to mobilize this. Okay, these are postponed. These are MVP. This is approved. Okay, this one. Okay, all right. So we finished evaluating. Let's just go back to the ones that we've approved and discuss how we should implement this. Okay, so Lilith, go ahead.
I think we have a new idea from Dominic. The last in the last row.
There's one more.
Yeah, from Dominic.
Dominic. Oh, Dominic,
The last row.
last row.
Oh yeah, it's
Ah, here it is.
actually about the elastic pricing. I don't know how, but somehow it works at some villa with 2 until 3 bedrooms. So basically, I just set the base price for 1 bedroom only. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's actually a really good idea, Dom. For every, Vinny, let me go to you real quick. Do we have any information currently about the group size of people who are still booking after March 14th?
Yeah, well, we can. I think I collect the data to the list and I can replicate it for any date.
Okay, great. So let me go ahead and do this then. I think that was part of one of our topics here, survey guest. And let's find group size, nationality, if possible, age range, psychographic. So what is it that they're thinking about? Okay, so if we find out that the majority of people, which I'm beginning to sense is smaller groups are booking and bigger groups are not, then Dominic's idea will be pretty useful. So we take essentially all multi-bedroom units and we reduce the base price to as if they were selling for a single bedroom, right? So then that moves everything that we have that's big into a small product, and then we just apply elastic pricing starting from after 2 people rather than after 4, after 6, right? That could be a pretty good idea. All right, back to Vidi. Vidi.
So I want to clarify the data that I have to find is not for those check-ins after 14, but those for bookings after 14, right?
Yes, sir. Bookings after
Okay.
14. Let's try to identify, are they majority smaller groups or what's the distribution? And if you can also do, let's say, a comparison of a few days before, that would also be good, right? See if there was like a difference in the cutoff a few days after the 14th and a few days before. If we see that the shift has gone more towards people who are smaller groups, then voila, right? We might have had an insight there. Also, along with this, maybe also the booking window as well. I think we can already see from the booking pace that the margins of people who are booking into the future now are thinner and thinner. So blue type bookings are getting thin, and orange type bookings are essentially the majority of it. So we can kind of predict that the booking window is getting shorter and shorter. But let's try to figure this out. And Dominic's initiative, I think, could be actually quite useful for this particular movement. All right, let's structure this out so that we don't burn ourselves out in one push. We all have limited amount of bandwidth, so let's see what we need to prioritize. Okay, so currently, let's put this on the push out list. Cancellation policy is already sort of being done right now. The next one, I think that is the easiest to do, is probably, let's see, let's take a look. Easy and urgent, easy and urgent, easy and urgent. All right, let me go to Lilith. Hey, Lilith, what do you think is the most easy and urgent initiative to activate right now?
Easy and urgent.
Yeah, the one that's the least amount of effort but the most urgent.
The weekly sales, because we just need to put how many discount on
The weekly discount, yeah?
the weekly discount. Sorry.
Okay, got it. All right, so yes, I think that will take quite a. We'll have to double check with all the owners again, right?
If I may,
Yes,
we
go
can
ahead.
do a parallel with the translation attribute.
Okay.
We already have a list from video, right?
Okay.
We already talked with the owner, I think, based on our previous the plan B.
Okay. It's a new discussion with the owner again, right? So we have to go
Oh, yeah.
and go back. It's I believe it's Plan D, right? Plan D was the talk we had with owners about discounts. So we need to go back to them. Yeah, we need to go back to them again and ask them for a weekly discount. Okay, let's go ahead and sequence this out then. Oops, sorry about that. We have another one, B1 now, and we're rolling this out on March. Today is the 17th, right? Okay, March 17th, and okay, so it's kind of rolling out at 5 p.m. Before WITA. And so the intended outcome is to get more Russian and Ukrainian bookings via translations to the most popular listings. Okay, so we'll go with 24 top listings for Russians first, and then 12 top listings for Ukrainians. Okay, so that's first. And then now we have a D2. Okay, we'll roll this out today. So we'll need to start surveying all the owners too as well to get them to agree to a weekly discount. But we don't have a number yet. So Lilith, Alvin, let's get together after this sync up to discuss what percentage discount we think is appropriate for a weekly discount. Yeah,
15.
15%. Okay. Yes, Chandra. Chandra, to you. Okay. What
Sir,
would
I
you
would like to ask, we already set a very minimum prices, flat price on some properties,
I
right?
know.
So do we have to like raising the flat price and then we could set a weekly discount, or we?
I guess it would be a weekly discount on top of the flat price. And to be honest, Chandra, I think it's still okay because every day that the news gets worse, the value of every booking goes down too. It's kind of like the stock market, right? We have to think in terms of a guest. So when the guest booked the listing, it was assuming that they were competing with other people to book availability. And the supply was limited and there would be more demand booking this availability. Now the entire market has changed. Now availability has become rapidly available through cancellations and through slower bookings. So the value of our entire bookings now into the future is changing with each day. So even though we made the discount maybe 2 days ago, now with worse news and more things getting closed, ultimately it's a little bit worse than it was 2 days ago too. So I think the idea of a weekly discount. Now, if they say no, it's fine, right? Then we just won't apply a weekly discount to their particular property. But if they say yes, and everybody I've talked to has said yes so far, so that's the good news. If they say yes, then why not? It makes it more attractive to our hypothetical stuck in Bali group of people who are continuing to extend, who are digital nomads who are not heading home. So yes, there's no hurt in asking, I think, for this. If they say no, then just leave it there and we move on to the next property. Okay? Okay. All right. Thank you, Chandra. Are there any other questions about this particular initiative as well? Okay. All right. So the intended outcome is that we get more, what do you call it, in-island guests to continue to extend their stays at our properties. So what's the hypothesis? People who are here long term will book and appreciate a discount, and weekly discounts help drive longer bookings and improve this will also, as an outcome, this will probably improve our occupancy. And this is good. If we improve the occupancy, then we reduce the supply, and then we can increase the price, right? At some point. But if we don't reduce the supply, then we will never be able to get a higher price at any point in history. Okay, so right. We also have, this one is not a revenue management initiative. This one's an HAR initiative. So we'll call this HAR1. And this is related to Chandra's thing. So we will get guests to stay in PV properties and extend to other PV properties, right? Okay, so the hypothesis is that air support can limit guests, can help reduce guests shopping outside of our network and continue their journeys within Bukit Vista and that will improve cash flow. I guess that's the intended outcome. And improve occupancy. Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay. All right, I think just for today, let's work on these initiatives. I think these will be already quite a lot of work. And then for this one, let's see. Actually, that's everything, right? Is there anything that we missed?
Translation.
Oh shit! Yeah. How did I forget to put that? Ah, okay. All right. Oh, this is it. Translation is right here. If you want. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Other thing is the elastic price that actually you don't really.
Yes. Okay. Russians, Ukrainians will book more often on friendly call out listings that are in their native language. Okay. All right. Okay. And then I think the next one, the elastic pricing. That one is which initiative is that?
I think it's
Alvin?
pretty much same with the weekly discount in terms of the approach.
Okay. It's more of a B initiative. It's changing the product, right? It's not a flat discount. These ones are more like just discounts across everything. This is more like we're targeting a smaller group. Okay. All right. Okay, Dominic, your idea is under Initiative B, and we will call it Initiative B2. Let's save this for tomorrow, right? We've already are going to roll out I think 4 initiatives right now. Let's not overload the system, but we will probably we'll release this on March 18th. Let's finish all the tasks first, March 18th and possibly 19th. Yeah. So the intended outcome is to reduce the base price of multi-room villas and properties to a single room base and allow for elastic pricing to extend the peak prices. The hypothesis is that most travel groups are now smaller after March 14th, and we need to make larger properties more competitive to gain access, to gain their business. All right, cool. Okay, let's see. If this is okay, so for this one, this is Chandra's initiative. She'll be the project champion on this one. If this one, Vidi, this is your initiative, so just double check on the translations. For this one, this is my initiative, Initiative D. So I will work on rolling out this as a continuation of long-term pricing discounts. And I think that's it. Okay, great. We were able to cover most everything within the hour, actually, so we finished a little bit ahead of time. This is good. This is actually really productive, I think. Any comments so far? No? Okay, everyone pumped up? All right. Okay, if you do have any new ideas, I think we can take a look at this. I'm honestly wondering if we should do revenue management every day now. It might be that urgent. Yeah. Almost every day. Okay. Hey guys, I propose we meet again on this Friday. Yeah, we normally don't do revenue management on Friday, but given the circumstances and the type of experiments we want to get out, I don't want there to be too many long gaps between an experiment and the next pivot. So can we agree to meet on Friday, 4 o'clock, Rita? Again, to just see where we are. Okay. Let's see who's okay with that. Lilith, are you okay with that? Okay. All right. Dom? Dom? Okay. Cynthia?
Do we have cluster?
Oh yeah, good call. I don't know if we have class on Friday at 4. I'm doing my my persuasion negotiation thing on Fridays at 10. So that one still is on. Oh, this is kind of like a crisis management class now, right? This is sort of like I was going to do a crisis management class, but then I thought, oh, well, that's sort of what we're doing right now in revenue management. Is a bit of crisis management. I'm not sure. I don't think we have any. I don't know of any class that could be more important than this though at the moment. So let's if you do have class, maybe prioritize this over the existing class on Fridays at 4. Okay, and Chandra, can you make it Friday at 4 o'clock again? Okay, great. Let's go ahead and roll out these initiatives, and we'll meet again tomorrow at 4 on the Wednesday meeting to roll out Dominic's idea about bringing down the price. Okay, so let's see. One last question. I just need Chandra and Alvin here about the. Okay, if you're not Chandra and Alvin, you're dismissed. You can go about your business. I just want to ask Chandra and Alvin about what you think is the correct weekly price. Oh, also, Cynthia, you do air support too as well, right? What do you think is a good weekly discount? Okay, let's go to Chandra first. Chandra, what would you suggest as a good weekly discount?
As we are actually in some property that I handle, we already put very minimum prices. I say 10% discount.
10%. Okay, all right. 10% on the ones that are already at a minimum price. Alvin,
10 to 15.
10 to 15. Okay, and then Cynthia, what do you consider to be a fair weekly discount price?
15, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's go between 10 and 15. I'll set up the paper again for the discounts. It'll be similar to what we did in the previous peak discount paper. So, oh yeah, actually, I wonder which one should go first. Should we finish our? Okay, I'll coordinate that with everybody. I'll coordinate that with the subgroup that will roll out the prices. Okay, for everyone else, let's continue doing what we're doing. I think this is fine work. We're pivoting as fast as we can to adapt to a very rapidly changing marketplace. And if you haven't, please watch the video that I put out on the announcement group. I think it's really, really valuable. I find that to be the most actionable thing that we can do. So, Lilith, Cynthia, thank you for distancing yourself. As much as possible, do practice this idea of social distancing. It does work, and it does reduce the contamination and effects of the spread of the virus. And it's not really for us, actually. I thought about it. It's really for people who might need to go to a hospital but cannot get to a hospital. So that's just something I want to reiterate on sort of a health and safety perspective. Okay, stay healthy. God bless our company, and let's keep on moving along. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you,
Have a good
sir.
day, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Goodbye. Goodbye.